It's the Cold Tub. Join us.
Woo! Namaste, y'all, and welcome to the Cold Tub. I am Nathan Jackson. He, Jake Plummer. Jake Plummer, and we are just chilling, man. We are chilling in these fantastically comfortable chairs, man.
Furniture Row.
Is that
did
Furniture Row did it, didn't they?
Right. These are
they
so
did it
comfy.
again.
I always think I'm going to sit up and be like, but then I get in this thing and it just holds me. Thank you, Furniture Row, for holding me during the cold tub.
Sturdy, comfortable, aesthetic. Thank you, Furniture Row, for outfitting us with this comfortable furniture. And man, let's be honest, man, the math, it ain't mathin' lately. Okay. It ain't. And between the grocery store, those skyrocketing insurance premiums, even with a steady job, more families are being forced to rely on high interest credit cards to cover expenses. Did you know that, Jake?
That's crazy. Yeah. Credit cards. Whew.
You have a couple of those, I imagine.
Yeah, and they're high interest. Try to pay them off quick.
Yeah.
Watch out.
And if you're a homeowner caught in that cycle, like so many are, carrying balances with interest rates in the 20s or even 30s, like we were just discussing, it's time to get some relief, guys. Right now, Jake.
What can we do?
Mortgage rates are at a 3-year low.
Oh.
I don't know if you knew that, but
that's sweet.
My friends at American Financing are here to helping homeowners pay off that high interest debt at rates in the low 5s. That's
what?
Yeah, it's the best it's been in quite a while. Kind of want to get on it because their salary-based mortgage consultants don't just push loans like a lot of these places do, Jake. They build exit strategies from your debt. And who doesn't want that? On an average, they're saving their customers $800 a month.
That's $800 a month?
Yeah. You know how much that is per year, Jake?
Yeah. It's a lot.
It's about $10,000.
Close to $10,000 a year.
Yeah, it's about $10,000 a year. And if you start today, guys, they might even be able to delay your next 2 mortgage payments.
2.
There's no upfront fees, no obligations here for American Financing. To find out how much you can save, Colorado's home for home loans is American Financing. Call them, 888-891-9788. That's 888-991-9788. Or visit AmericanFinancing.net/Cold Tub.
Cold Tub.
Thank you, American Financing. And thank you, Jake Plummer, for joining us on the Cold Tub.
Yeah, it's great to be here. Post-season, really, for the Broncos, although we have one big game left. It's called the
Super Bowl.
Super Bowl.
It's the healthiest holiday of the year.
Healthiest holiday, yes. And you get exposed to so many quality, healthy options in your life, with the commercials and the sales jobs by all these people paying millions of dollars for 30 seconds.
And what about the food, though? Yummy Super Bowl food.
I always make a bean dip.
Yeah, you were saying, and you're the only one who eats it.
Yeah,
right?
No one else eats it, so I get.
Maybe you need to work on the recipe. Bro.
No, nobody likes beans in my family. I
really?
guess. I mean, I put beans and cheese and jalapenos and maybe some meat of some kind.
They say beans are good for your heart.
They're really good for you.
The more you eat, the more you fart. The more you fart, the better you feel. So let's have beans for every meal.
At least with every bean dip on Super Bowl, for sure.
There's also beans, the magical fruit. The more you eat, the more you toot. The more you toot, the better you feel.
Let's have beans with every meal. I do like beans. They are good for you.
Well, it is off season, and the Broncos have a little bit of breaking news here because, look, let's face it, the Broncos offense was the weak point on this team. As much as we were excited about Bo Nix, as much as we were excited about Sean Payton and the job he did, gosh, the Broncos went 14-3.
Wow.
14-3, but largely on the backs of a championship defense that was just nails all season long, and the offense kind of struggled to keep pace. They had their moments. They had some incredible moments. Let's be honest. They had some comebacks that were improbable. Bo Nix played really, really well. The offensive line played well. They had some nice moments, but ultimately fell short, and somebody had to get fired, and that was Joe Lombardi.
We call that a scapegoat. I kind of scapegoat. They got rid of the guy they were blaming on. That's all right.
So Joe Lombardi, the offensive coordinator, got fired. Kerry Colbert, wide receiver coach, also got fired. He was a teammate of mine in 2008. Good guy, but the receivers did underperform, and then the DB coach got fired. Your initial thoughts on firing the offensive coordinator when you're kind of the guy who's orchestrating the offense and calling the plays as Sean Payton?
Yeah, man, I don't know what Joe did. What was his job and his exact, detailed what is he doing every day? Because Sean is calling the plays. So obviously they're working together. What that rift is or why they would fire him. I think it's more or less because of the people below him, as we see. I think that Joe, whatever he was doing wasn't fitting right, wasn't jibing. So Sean Payton, though, he's going to do what he wants to do and say what he wants to say, and that's what we see.
Ultimately, he is the CEO, right? And he is the architect of this team that turned around from the doldrums a couple years ago when they sucked, and now they are, top 4 teams in the NFL. So, but not quite there. And so you do want to improve the offense. And so, go ahead and fire the guys you don't think were articulating your message well enough. Mike Shanahan. Now, Gary Kubiak was our offensive coordinator, but you imagine Mike Shanahan was heavily involved in the offensive game planning.
Of course, 100%.
Right.
And then at times Mike would take over play calling if he was frustrated or didn't like what was going on, and he'd be making the offensive play calls. So
did that happen a lot? Because what was the arrangement? Because we're going to talk about this in a second. Because Davis Webb promoted to offensive coordinator from quarterback coach, former quarterback in the NFL, backup, but he's a rising star in the coaching world.
Yeah.
Okay, everyone, he's hot right now. Davis Webb is hot.
Yeah.
He had some interviews with the Raiders and a couple other teams.
Jobs, right?
Yeah, which is kind of bananas when you never even addressed a team before.
Yeah.
Like you've never had to stand up in front of a team and be the leader. Like maybe that was just to kind of get a feel on who this guy is. Obviously, probably not ready for that role, but is ready for the offensive coordinator role.
Yeah.
There's a lot of consternation, Jake, as to whether or not he'll be calling the plays. Now, Gary Kubiak was a former quarterback, backup to John Elway, became our offensive coordinator, but he did call the plays. Is that right?
Yeah, he called most of the plays. Obviously, they would game plan together, him and Shanahan and line coach, everybody else. But there was a nice buffer there from head coach to me through Gary.
Yeah.
My quarterback coach was Pat McPherson. He'd never played quarterback, so tight end in his playing days, and so Pat wasn't really
a linebacker.
And linebacker, I think he played tight end linebacker. So he was seeing it from a different perspective. As my quarterback coach, I wasn't gaining a ton of insight on how to play the position of quarterback from him, but he was great at relaying the message, and I could ask any questions. And you want a comfort zone with your QB coach. You want to be able to ask like the stupidest question in the world, like, what is this basic play? What do I do? And not get, in trouble for it or made to feel like you're not doing your job because you don't know everything in the whole entire playbook. So having a good quarterback coach is huge. Obviously, Davis Webb was that for Bo and that room for Stidham. But there's something about, Davis Webb has never addressed the team as a head coach, but being a former quarterback, he knows what it's like to have all the focus on him. So I think he's primed and ready to keep escalating. I love that they kept him here, though, to keep things easy transition, smooth into this next phase, which is to hopefully see Bo get better. Yeah. And so Davis knows Bo really, really, really well. Yeah. Now he's going to be the offensive coordinator, taking the skill set Bo has and now having a little more say. I mean, he's going to be able to have a little more say in the game plans and the offensive, evolution of what we're seeing with this team. I mean, obviously they did underperform, some injuries and talent issues, but otherwise, seeing him move in is a really good thing. I like it. I think this was, a predisposed move that it was just bound to happen, seeing Davis Webb become the OC here.
So how is that going to affect Bo and that quarterback room having, Davis now be the offensive coordinator? Is he still going to be the quarterback coach? Because now he's up in front of the whole room addressing the entire offense. He's talking to the offensive line. He's talking to the running backs. Yeah. He's got to coach up the tight ends. He's got to coach up the receivers, right? He can't spend all his time on the quarterback anymore. Do you foresee him adding a quarterback coach?
Yeah, you got to have a quarterback coach. You got to have someone in there to run that meeting.
Well, so could Davis Webb still do that?
Yeah, Kubiak would come down into the room and be in the room with us for most of the installation, the important things, any new plays, any wrinkles we were adding. Kubes would come down and go through, and he would go through, game film. He'd go through the most important things to show us exactly what was going on, because he wants the message from top to be, the same going all the way down to quarterback coach. So who do they get as the quarterback coach? I have no idea.
Jake Plummer.
What? Am I in the running?
Would you?
Would I go coach quarterbacks?
Yeah.
I don't think I want to give up doing the cold tub, baby, and the walkthrough. It's too much fun and easy here. Then there you got to be there early and be there late.
And Sean Payton would probably cuss you out.
Oh yeah, I mean we'd get along just fine.
Yeah, you guys would be bosom buddies.
Yeah,
man.
we'd be just jolly
you
together.
Sean.
But it's key to get the right guy to fill this QB room, QB coach. So
yeah, as we see here, thank you. See, this is why we love the cold tub listeners and watchers. We should know this.
Logan Kilgore?
Mike Burns says they've hired Logan Kilgore.
Who's that? Is he the
Logan.
next up and comer?
Maybe so.
Hot?
Logan Kilgore?
Hot off of the GA duties?
Maybe.
Not a graduate assistant in the quality control duties, QC, not GA.
Quality
wow, maybe he's a rising star. Never heard of him before.
Well, I'm sure if they hired him, he must be pretty good.
Where
right?
did he come
So we'll
from?
do our research on Logan Kilgore.
Kilgore.
So let me ask you about the play calling, because
what do you call him, Coach Kill or Coach Gore? Or just Coach Kilgore, Coach
K, man, Coach K.
Coach LK?
I want to ask you about something else.
Okay.
Play calling. You watched all the Broncos games. You had some issues with the play calling. You thought it was pretty lame. You thought it was pretty stupid at times. You thought the swing pass, the banana routes were not that cool.
Stupid? That's a good way to say it. It says, you're stupid. Say, stupid?
Yeah.
Let me give you a little different twist.
But you had, like most fans, didn't really love the flow of the game call, the plays being called some at points. Do you think Sean Payton is in a position where he's willing to give up the play calling duties to his young offensive coordinator who he just promoted, Davis Webb?
I hope so. I think when you look across the league, I'm looking at offenses that I've enjoyed watching this year, and really the LA Rams had a phenomenal offense. They never stopped attacking. They mixed it up. They weren't throwing bubble, run bubble. They were stretching the field. Obviously, you got to have people that do that. You got to have a receiving core and tight ends that are in the same rhythm as your quarterback, and obviously, Bradford or Stafford's a hell of a quarterback. He's been in for a long time. He knows what he's doing. So also he's like a coach on the fields. So having a new offensive coordinator, obviously Sean Payton, it's a brilliant offensive mind, but having another person come in there and he now has say as a quarterback coach, you're not gonna be like, hey coach, put this in. They may be like, yeah, whatever. And then it goes in a couple weeks later. But I think that there's obviously a good relationship here. There's obviously something between Bo and Davis that's good to keep intact.
Yeah.
As Bo is going to be now, rehabbing his ankle, getting into this offseason, which is going to be a key offseason for him to develop and work on the things that he knows he needs to do already, but he's going to be told by the coaches, and then, put a little effort and time into hopefully getting an offense that allows him to develop into a more pocket progression passer, getting the guys into spots and then letting him do what he does so well, which is off the cuff.
Off the cuff.
Yeah.
The bonus.
Because, the offense is called, but, the quarterback's going to make 30 to 40% plays on it off the cuff.
Yeah.
What
about on the cuff?
Improvisationally.
But on the cuff, you got to be on the cuff too.
On the cuff. Yeah. Off the cuff.
You got to be able to do on the cuff too. Because you said 40% is off, so 60 is going to be on the cuff.
Yeah, you got to run the plays, the 60%.
On and off the cuff. The cuff is the focal
point.
And
I say 60 to 40. Maybe it's 59 to 41, or, could be a little skewed.
Depends on the game, right?
Bo did take off a lot this year. The offense really didn't hang their hat on anything in particular. That's what I'd love to see is just, hey, we are going to do this extremely well and then build off of that.
Well, maybe they didn't hang their hat on anything because they weren't ready to take their hat off.
And maybe they hadn't installed any good hooks that were
maybe they
able
just
to
had
put
the
a hat on.
Yeah, they didn't want to take the hat off.
Well, you're supposed to probably take your hat off when you go inside as a rule. That was kind of like an old school.
They're like, where do I hang this?
Take your hat. Yeah,
we haven't established that.
We're going to hang it now on Davis Webb's shoulder or hooking onto his backpack.
Yeah.
Somewhere, maybe his belt.
Hopefully,
loop.
it's in them somewhere in the middle of his, so he doesn't get all lopsided.
Could hang it on his little call thing right here, and then bend it so that it would hang there.
Yeah,
but we can hopefully hang our hat on Davis Webb coming in and getting this offense better. That's all they need to do. And they did have some moments of like, what are you doing? But they also, when it mattered, they performed, and that's key. 2-minute drives into games. We're seeing the league be very hyper competitive. So it comes down to making it happen when you got the ball in your hands at the end of the game, and
making it happen when you got the ball in your hands at the end of a game. But as Kenzo's Creations points out, Jake, what if it's warm and there are no cuffs? How's he gonna perform off the cuff?
Yeah, man. It's just
Think about that one.
That's a tough one. That's a great
try
question.
to think about that. So you mentioned the symbiosis between Davis Webb and Bo Nix and how valuable that is to keep that in the building. Maybe even more valuable now that there seems to be perhaps a rift growing between Bo Nix and Sean Payton, or at least that's how it felt at the end of the season when Sean Payton came to the podium after the playoff win against the Bills and said this.
On the second to last play in overtime, Bo fractured a bone in his right ankle. He's scheduled to have surgery Tuesday of this week, which will put him out for the rest of the season. Steady's ready to go. And it was the second to last play before he threw the pass to Mims. Birmingham is where he'll have the surgery with Dr. Waltrip, and I don't really think there's any other questions. In other words, this is what it is, and we felt like it'd be best to just tell everyone now. I'll take questions.
Sean, just after such an emotional victory, how deflating is it to get that?
Tell you what, the one thing about it, he's such a strong, faith-based guy. He was sitting in the hallway with his family, and I went over and we're all talking to him. And, he knows, that God's got a plan for him. And he said he had one in high school. And then he said he had one at Auburn. And I said, I didn't realize that. I said, if I'd have known that, I wouldn't have drafted you.
Zing! Perfect time. Hey, they'll
funny.
never expect this joke. Bam!
Timing isn't anything.
Devastating moment in
Crazy.
Broncos country to realize that your starting quarterback is not going to be there for the AFC Championship game. But thankfully, Sean Payton had his fingers on the pulse and knew that now's the right time to crack a joke like that.
Boy, oh boy. I'm still thinking about the question posed if it's cold summer and there's no cuffs, is just hope the cops don't come with some handcuffs.
Ooh.
Because if we get handcuffed by the cops, then we really don't have an offense.
Yeah.
And
that reminds me, though, did you know the Second Amendment issue that we hear a lot about in this country is really about no cuffs. It's about tank tops, the right to bear arms.
Yes. And I'm glad you got to the point.
Right. Thank you.
Almost as long as it took Coach Payton to get to the point. And sometimes I don't know how the media does it, to sit and listen to a coach. I have a point to make, viewers. Sit there and wait, because I'm in control. And that's Sean Payton. He wants to be in control.
Yeah.
And it's obvious. You be a head coach, you have to have control. You have to have almost a sense of false control at times when you know that the players are the most important. And to come back and do this, this whole city and national media went off on this. And like you listen to all these people that have never been in a room and never have been injured and had to sit there with a coach and try to describe, hey, what are we going to tell the media? What do we say? What's going on? Like, they plan these things. You want to keep things tight and in the group. And here he just airs it all out with a real shitty time joke. Like, whoa, he just went and picked that. He went and picked his words and chose those words. And it's a shame that he would do that in a time when, like, I didn't know until I got a little update later. And it was just like, I don't know Bo Nix personally. I've met him and I love what he does on the field, but it was just like, oh, you just felt it. Like, as a player, if that would happen to me, oh man, and a coach comes and makes a joke like that, I might have choice words for him, because I was not as strong and faith-based and God-fearing as Bo Nix. So I might have said some stuff back to him at that moment. When, maybe the moment was time to make a joke. Let's lighten the mood a little bit, because it was heavy, but now there is a little bit of a rift, I think. There has been already, though. This isn't like it's new.
There are different jokes you could make,
like,
other than
one. Off the cuff, give me one.
Well, I mean, like,
off.
The joke could have been something other than, we never should have brought you here in the first place, man. Instead of like, wow, that sucked, man.
Could you have done this in the off season playing hoops or something?
Right. There's different ways to say it than we made a mistake bringing you here at all, man. But
I don't think made a mistake. It's just
No,
what if we would have known? Like
that's what the joke
what the
said,
hell?
dude.
How do you know when somebody has something predisposed? Like as a football player,
All right,
you've been mashed, you've been smashed, you've been whatever.
Let's talk. Let's before we get into continuing this conversation. The game happened, AFC Championship game. They lost the game, and then after the dust settled on the season, Sean Payton addressed the media again about Bo's injury and offered some more detail.
No, and make understand that was in jest, and
Understood.
I'm going to stop trying to be funny. That's my. I'm going to stop trying to be funny. That's. I think what was found though, what was a condition that was like predisposed right at that they always find a little bit more when they go in, and it wasn't a matter of if, it was a matter of when. So it wasn't, because when you look at the play and you're trying to evaluate it, he said, the doctor, operating surgeon said that this was going to happen sooner than later.
Okay, to me, you have your opinion here. Too many words, man. Too many words about the details of this medical file. Too many details about history. Too many details about the surgery. Again, you said keep it tight.
HIPAA, man. There's HIPAA laws.
Well, I don't know if that applies in this situation necessarily speaking.
Maybe not.
To be technical about it, but you're the coach of this team, and you've been tight-lipped about injuries all season long. And now that Bo's hurt, you want to just kind of start singing like a canary and gave every little detail about his history and about what you think you interpreted from what the doctor told you, which you're not a doctor. Why even address it? On top of that, Jake, I mean, do you want your opponents knowing what your weak spot is, your Achilles, like that you might have had ankle problems in the past? I mean, I don't know. That's a secondary thing because privacy is the most important thing. If Bo wants to share these things, he can. And he ended up holding his own press conference and elucidating a little more clearly because he clearly didn't like the way Sean Payton laid it out. But how would you feel if your coach was up there giving all the details about what you're going through medically?
Yeah, I don't think it's his job. He's a head coach. Coach is coach. And players play, and doctors doctor, and it's simple. Keep it simple, man. Keep it inside. Keep it in-house. Coaches aren't supposed to make do medical talk on the podium, and here he is just talking about Bo's ankle and how it's really not a cool thing. I'm sure they'll work it out. Bo, being of faith and very calm, cool, and collected, and a professional. Already in year 2, said all the right things in his press conference. Obviously, you got to try to, smooth the waters and move on. Let's all think about Bo's ankle healing, instead of talking about it was just bound to happen. I mean, that's, before a game, I would always think, oh God, and then I don't think about it.
Yeah.
Because you've got to go out there and I could. Yeah. The last thing I wanted to do was blow my knee out, especially week 15 in Arizona when we were already out of the playoffs, and it was like, damn, this would be the shittiest time to blow my knee out. I got to spend the off season rehabbing. No, I don't want. I want to golf. I want to mountain bike. I want to go see my family, go backpack, do all kinds of stuff. So, yeah, the sharing too much information, and I know you have had a very big opinion about this, strong opinion about how much they share of us when we are humans.
Yeah,
we're still humans, and there are things you just don't do, and that's talk about my injury out and air my laundry. That's my own personal business.
Yeah, there's a belief for some reason in this industry because of the betting, the gambling lines. They need to be, accurate. So you need to know who's hurt, how severe the injury is, how long he's going to be gone, what the injury is. But we commoditize the players in a way that I think is pretty fucking disgusting at times. And so, the conversation is not about Bo and what he's going through as a person, as a family man, he's about to be a father
Oh,
Two,
man.
he's got a baby on the way. He put his heart into this season, the last 2 seasons, and steps from the finish line when he's about to take his team to the fucking Super Bowl, because they would have made the Super Bowl if he would have stayed healthy, in my opinion.
Yes.
He breaks his ankle, and then all everyone wants to talk about is the injuries in the past and how this is going to affect the future and whether or not he's going to be ready for this or that, instead of talking about and giving him the privacy that he deserves, not inquiring and making that the story about the details of his medical file, but also speculating about his future instead of, feeling for and reaching out to the human being who's going through what he's going through, and who, by the way, put it all on the line for you guys so you could appreciate it and enjoy it all. Everyone in Broncos country went to that stadium and felt what they felt this year on the back of what Bo was doing. We all owe him a little space here.
Yeah.
To back
grace.
the fuck off, some grace, Sean Payton included.
Yeah. I slid into third base in Little League and sprained my ankle one time. So I was predisposed to have an ankle sprain in the NFL.
Ooh.
Listen, athletes get hurt. Athletes put stress on their bodies. Athletes fall. Athletes tweak something, and then it doesn't show up until here comes a guy and boom, you blow your shoulder trying to make a tackle. You've had a concussion before. Oh, these guys know they're predisposed. This is a rough sport. It's a violent game. Guys get injured. It sucked that Bo got hurt at that moment. It really, I was watching and I saw his face, and it was not the Bo we see running around celebrating. He knew when it happened. He knew exactly when it happened. Of course, we found out later, but my thoughts and all of my energy, prayers, light, love, all that is going towards Bo and a good recovery so that he comes back strong and even stronger, with focus on healing that. And I think that the power of thought, the power of that positive energy that the fans can bring, the love we can give him, not his coach up there, airing all of his health facts. I think that's, like you said it well. It's not right.
And Bo is going to be fine. He's a man of faith. He has a Christian faith that, he wears on his sleeve, and not on his cuff, but on his sleeve.
Yeah.
He actually has the cross on the thigh pad that he wears in the game. I'm as a uniform inspector, it's a violation. I'm not going to write him up for that.
Wow. You're
very, very magnanimous of me.
Very good. Nice of you, Nate.
But, religion, faith, belief in God, belief in a higher power. It's a big part of being, in my experience, being a professional athlete. Most of those guys in that locker room believe in something to have gotten to that point. Very few guys are just like, I believe in me. Even if you believe in, even if you can't name the higher power that you believe in, you're still, at least I was still talking to the Almighty a lot when I played, out on the field before the game. We'd be warming up. I warm up on my own. I have my music in. And that was a very spiritual time for me to connect with whatever my destiny was, or whatever I believed it was, or whatever strength I derived from a higher power. You talk about the violence and the inevitable injury that awaits us, because we are flesh and bone, and we're putting our bodies through some pretty unnatural movements out there. And it is only a matter of time before something catastrophic happens to one of us. We've all been on the field when bad shit happens. Yeah. You have to have a belief that in something more than just your own flesh and bone to be out there, and when we were on a team, we would always do the Lord's Prayer right before we went out. We would bring it, come up around Shanahan and grab hands, and our Father who art in heaven. I actually learned that prayer from being in football.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, I went to church as a kid, but once Sunday school stopped and it started being just like sitting in church, I was out because I was too antsy, and I was playing, I was playing soccer and swimming and all that. But before every game, but even before that, praying in the shower, fellas, praying in the shower. Yeah. And the more devout Christians amongst us would, have a group of guys go and pray in the shower, in the empty shower. No, not in the showers as they were going, but, they had mass and chapel before the games. For whatever reason, the offensive linemen on our team were the most Christian and the most studious when it came to the Bible. What was your recollection of how religion played a part in the locker room and in your experience playing football?
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody's raised differently. To believe in some higher power, whether that's God, Jesus Christ, of course, grace the earth, God's Son, and people go to church, people read the Bible. You have something to put your energy into. Thoughts are powerful. So, I think back to saying the Lord's Prayer, And, I got to play with Pat Tillman, who's like, a national hero, known worldwide for what he did to go fight for our country. But prior to that, we all loved Pat because he was just so unique and different. So during the Lord's Prayer, I'd always be down there, and I would go through a visual of my grandmother, who was extremely religious, and I would see her and just thank her for all the knowledge and all the teaching she gave me about how to be Christian-like. I wasn't a Christian attending church and all that, but I had Christian qualities. I had to treat people right, to be kind, to turn the other cheek, to not hate somebody because they hate you. And so I would look over during the prayer, though, and Pat would always be squatting down in the locker room and kind of looking around. And so I'd look at him and smile, and just brings back a good feeling about my man, Pat. But yeah, you got to have faith in something, obviously yourself. You believe in yourself strongly, and whatever that may be. We see a lot of athletes now today, the very first words out of their mouths after a game is all grace and glory to God. I would thank God and all this stuff. And it's great. If that's what they want to put their energy into, awesome. My whole thing was like, at some point for me, I got asked to be in Bible study all the time and come to the thing. I was like, hey, I'm good, guys. And if they could accept that and be cool with me, which they were, that's all I cared. Hey, be faithful, be strong in your faith, be a good person. The more of those guys on a team, the better it is, because they care, they're compassionate, they have empathy, they're taught that through Scripture. So it's not a bad thing in a violent game, where I know you've said this many times, like some of these guys, you wouldn't want them living next to you if they weren't on the field bashing people and taking them out, because some of these guys are not good guys, but generally most of the players on the team, they're all pretty good humans deep down.
Yeah, I mean, when I look back at our time playing, there was all good dudes in that locker room.
A lot of good dudes.
And they filled the locker room with good dudes, but with diverse thoughts from different areas, different socioeconomic backgrounds, different religious beliefs, right? Different political beliefs. So the locker room had spirited debates, political, religious, it was fine. It was all about what we did together when we went on the field. And that's why I think sports is the great unifier, because look, the Super Bowl is in a couple days and we're going to pick a winner in a second, Jake. So get your thinking cap on. But it brings everyone to it doesn't matter if you're a Democrat or Republican on Super Bowl Sunday. Yep. Well, at least these days it kind of does a little bit, because it's all fucking political everywhere you go. But it didn't used to. It was about the game. And so the coaches never asked us what our political beliefs were or what our religious beliefs were. They want you to believe in each other out on the field and put your heart into doing this together. And when you do that, you start to realize, wait a second, it doesn't matter where we're from or what we believe. We're brothers because of what we went through together. And I think that's the power of sports that we got to remind ourselves of.
Yeah, that locker room we were in and the teams you're on, it's a microcosm of the outside society, minus not a whole lot of feminine influence. Because there's not a lot of females in those rooms. So it had a high tendency to be very masculine, a lot of testosterone, on edge at times. Yeah. So, but it was a little society. We had to learn how to get along, how to work together, how to pull each other out of a depths or pull you down when you're getting too big for yourselves. And that was really the beauty of it. I mean, I had multiple times where guys would pull me aside and they saw me hurting. And I was grateful for those guys. Frank Sanders in Arizona, one of my greatest teammates, he was amazing. He would pull me aside when he saw me struggling, and he was very faith-based. And, he would help me. So yeah, the whole thing with this is such a game that brings people together. Yeah. And that's really the beauty of what we did. And as I grow away from the game, I'm retired now for many, many years, back doing some media. What I get out of seeing fans and the feelings that they had watching me play, what a special thing we did. No matter what, losing the AFC Championship game, I get some venom thrown at me and this, that, and the other. Hey, you know what? We got there and we created memories that people have forever. Yep. And that's a beautiful thing to have done.
Yeah, and you get to check your ego and your beliefs, political, otherwise, at the door, and focus on this sport that we all love and this team that we all love, the Denver Broncos, who aren't going to be in the Super Bowl, one game away, which is crazy to think. 5 months ago that the Broncos would have been one game away from being in Santa Clara to face the Seattle Seahawks, who are a pretty freaking formidable opponent, off the cuff or on the cuff, if you know what I mean. So
let's hope none of them get cuffed before the Super Bowl. Stay in your room. Don't go out.
Yeah, unless you hear a knock at the door and it's a lady of the night sent there by the other team to wear you out the night before. Do you remember those days?
No.
Yeah, I heard about you, Jake.
You're making that up, mate. You know I was as serious as serious as a heart attack.
As a Sean Payton joke after
Yeah.
Well, who do you got winning this game?
The
Because
Seattle Seahawks are going to whoop the Patriots. That's all I'm feeling. 31-17, and the 7 that the Patriots get late is going to give them 17. It's going to be a Super Bowl bore.
yeah, you think so?
Yeah, I mean, more or less, the commercials are the most gonna. We're gonna see how many alcohol commercials and
So
Doritos
let me ask you this.
commercials and
Let me ask you this.
pharmaceutical commercials. Oh, and the gambling commercials. Yeah, deliver your food while I make bets.
I'm gonna predict the Seahawks are also gonna win 28-10. I'm gonna get that out of the way right now. 28-20. Yeah, not bad, right? Not bad. But at what point did the corporatization of the Super Bowl become something that you didn't enjoy? Because back in the day, it was like the commercials were fun. Let's see what the Doritos commercial is. Oh my God, did you see the cool Pepsi commercials? Bud, Wise, whoa, genius.
Wasabi.
But these are all corporations who were taking advantage of you then. They're taking advantage of you now. Why is it more concerning now? Is it because we know more? Is it the cat's out of the bag and we know that corporations are sucking us dry and only want to extract every ounce of energy, money, and soul that we have in us and then leave us to die in a shallow grave?
Well, I don't think it's that. I just think they got to make money somehow and pay the athletes,
So why are you cynical about it now when in the past this commercials were cool? Why now is it as a joke?
I'm more or less excited about the commercials.
Oh, you are?
Yeah,
Oh,
I think
okay,
it's
cool.
going to be the fun part of this game because Seattle's going to blow the doors off of the Patriots. They are a damn good football team. They have tons of weapons. Their defense is good. And what I saw from the Pats, if they get after Drake May, good luck, son. So watching the commercials, it's just kind of interesting what commercials are out there. I mean, obviously there's powerful companies, huge companies, and they've been running the world forever, and they run the Super Bowl.
Do you know
it's $7-8 million for a 30-second clip.
Is that
How
it?
can you get some kind of nice, organic, healthy option as a commercial? You ain't going to get it. You're going to get Remy Martin and Molson and Coors Light and diarrhea with Taco Bell mixed in and all this stuff that really none of it's good for you. None of it.
And it's also the tech influence now, and these like tech companies.
Uber Eats.
Yeah, it's that stuff.
Deliver me some Taco Bell with some Pepsi Cola from.
Well, the old commercials over the Doritos and the stuff that wasn't good for you back then, but
Yeah, they
the
were
commercials
fun.
were cooler.
Yeah, most of the Bud Light commercials were sex sold beer. There was always some allusion to some kind of sexual thing, and you just gotta. I don't know. You just got to enjoy it, sit back and know that it's out of your control. I'm not trying to be cynical or anything like that. I'm just like looking at the commercials and where they're going and what's playing the game.
What about Bad Bunny? Bad Bunny. Are you going to watch Bad Bunny? Bad Bunny?
What?
Bad Bunny.
No, I'm going to watch the Puppy Bowl.
Bad Bunny is the
Oh,
halftime.
Bad Bunny.
Bad Bunny.
Very interesting time that Bad Bunny doing the Super Bowl with all the things going on in our world here.
Yeah.
Woo,
I'm sure
this
there'll
is
be
pretty,
some messages.
I'm
some
excited
messaging.
to see what he does if he throws out something hardcore for the general population.
And what else was I going to say? You're talking about, are you a gambler? Are you going to be betting on anything?
I don't gamble. I don't bet. I think it's a shame that the NFL has torn that wall down and allowed this to trickle down to like being such an insidious kind of thing with, betting on all these players. So where we know way too much.
And that's part of the injury stuff.
When the press conferences are going to be sponsored by FanDuel and DraftKings and all that soon, then nothing is sacred anymore and they're going to air everything. And so there's got to be some lines drawn, I think, to protect the players and protect the sanctity of that team.
And we at the Cold Tub draw those lines, Jake.
I hope so.
I'm not a gambling man myself either. My version of covering the spread is when I puked on the hors d'oeuvres last year at the Super Bowl party. That's when I covered the spread.
Yeah, sometimes if it's really cold, I'll throw an extra blanket and cover my bedspread.
Oh, well, it has been pretty cold, especially here in the Cold Tub. Jake, I want to thank you for coming on in here and having a good conversation. It's off-season time now for us, and we're going to bring you some interesting topics, relevant topics with the Broncos, but also things that you guys might like to hear us chat about. So if you want to reach out to us on social media or drop a comment on this here platform, we can talk about the things y'all want us to talk about. Might even get out on the field and do it in a walkthrough. Jake, thanks for joining me. Will you come back next week?
Yes, I will. Thank you, American Financing and Furniture Row. Also,
that's right, American Financing and Furniture Row. We love you.
And something I'm involved with. And thank you, Umbo, as we see at the end of the Cold Tub. Hope you stick around and see a little funny commercial.
Yeah, check out the commercial to follow. I'm Jake. He's Nate. This is the Cold Tub.
Peace, love, and this guy sucking my thumb.
You ever think about what it would have been like if you had mushrooms when we were playing?
Yeah, Nate, I think about it all the time.
All the time?
All the time. I'm thinking about it right now.
You ever think about what it would have been like if you had mushrooms when we were playing?
Yeah, Nate, I think about it all the time.
All the time?
All the time. I'm thinking about it right now.
Plummer throws an interception.
Hey, man, take it off. You're going to be all right, man. Keep your head in there, all right?
Nice throw, plunger.
Yeah, to us.
You suck.
Yeah!
Touchdown! Woo! Dolphin noise!
Dolphin noise!
Are you going to be okay? Here, take this.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna be okay.
You got it, man. You're Jake Plummer, man.
We got this, man. I got a great night's sleep last night. I'm calm, I'm cool, I'm relaxed. Let's go get this done. Our replenishing sleep capsules across the board, 5-star reviewed. People are sleeping better, sleeping longer hours, getting more REM sleep. These will help you get a good night's rest. Go to getumbo.com and try our replenishing sleep capsules.